And welcome back, everybody, to Comic Kings Archives. I am Michael, and we have
Brandon.
Stefan.
Welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Brandon, for hosting again with Comic Kings. We are talking this week about Heroes Reborn, Jason Aaron's Heroes Reborn series. Everyone's favorite, obviously. And so we're going to be going right through that. Do we want to give quick thoughts real quick on the book before we dive right in?
It wasn't what I wanted. I'm going to be very honest, though. Jason Aaron's Avengers run is something that was very hyped for when it came out. I was like, oh, one of my favorite writers, and David Marquez is one of my favorite artists, and I'm very fond of Ed McGuinness. Like, this is going to be great. And I was like, oh, this is not great. And it had so much potential. And it was like, it's beats, it has fun, unique. It has like different arcs that like I would enjoy, but it's like, it's in the next one. It's like, you don't need to know anything. Then there's this, which was a concept that was introduced in this big anniversary issue that we just never got around to do like 2-3 years later, and a pandemic and a half later. So I was like, it is what it is. No one has any necks in this issue, in this book. So I was like, that's very perfect.
There's that. There's no real consequences to this story, which is cool and not. I don't know. It depends on what you want to do. But Steph, what did you think, man?
It wasn't too bad. I like you said, there was no consequences, and I think a story like this should have had like some I think it's easy to reboot the universe or whenever they complete the mission and set the universe back to how it's supposed to be, the timeline, whatever. But it's just like, yep, we saved the day. Timelines reset. I want to see ramifications. Like House of M, which a lot of people compare this to. There was major ramifications from House of M. For years they played out storylines from the consequences that happened at the House of M.
Still,
right?
Still to this day.
I will say I did enjoy that this book ended really quickly when it was coming out in single issues. It did its job. It didn't do anything like funny. It didn't like go on. Like I know like Death Metal like a bunch of friggin' tie-ins and like and then we had like issues like 7 issues of the event like come out in like a year sporadically with tie-ins. This literally came out in like a month.
Yeah, it was like a month
and a half. Like how it literally came out every week. And it was here and there and gone because Jason Aaron had to move on to the next thing. He's like, yeah, but I just have to wrap up this arc, this story. But I mean, he's like, but I kind of have to give it this whole different feel. This mini event feel because I want to bring people back into my book. But it's an average book. I'm writing a very average Avengers run, which is very, very, very not like my other stuff that I'm most known for. It's average. So here's a book that makes it look that much better.
It was
not great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Anyone can pick this up. You don't need to be reading his Avengers run to really understand this book. I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, like Brandon, like you said, I really do enjoy Ed McGuinness. Jason Aaron is usually a go-to for me whenever he puts something out. And so I thought this was going to be a home run. It's kind of weird. It's a weird book and probably not in the greatest of way, but I thought it was an entertaining book. It's probably not one people are going to remember going forward, but it's worth reading. So backstory with this book is obviously from Jason Aaron's breakout story from his Avengers run. However, it focuses a lot on the Squadron Supreme, and especially for this particular story, they're the Squadron Supreme of America. Very patriotic in this one. But who is the Squadron Supreme? Who are they? They seem a lot like
what are they?
The Justice League, and it is. This Marvel's Justice League, essentially. Hyperion is Superman. Power Princess is Wonder Woman.
Archer confirmed that.
Archer confirmed that. Look at the first issue. And Nighthawk is Batman, and so on. And it was kind of Marvel's answer to their Justice League at the time. And it was a really cool, I like them quite a bit. I love the Squadron. I think it's really cool because
they're great.
They're essentially, they are trying to be good guys. The original ones that were only for like 2-3 issue storyline when they first came out were not good, but the rest of them coming out.
It was like a 6 when Engelhart.
Or 6, 6. The original ones were not good.
When Perez drew it, it was great. I was like, this is awesome.
But going on after that, they were essentially trying to be good. But they just took it too far.
They just became a meme.
Yeah, exactly. And they became extremes of what they should be doing. Right. So that's kind of the essence of who the Squadron Supreme are. They are the Justice League, but to the extreme and uncontrollable. So
I would definitely, if you guys do want more reading material, go back to the source because I think that's like some of the best we ever gotten with Squad Supreme. Of course, it's by Steve Englehart, George Perez, and it was very much like, okay, Justice League at DC wasn't really doing that much at the time. It never really did until Perez went over there a few years later.
You can say that with basically anything with Perez.
Anything that Perez
at the time,
yeah.
At the time.
I'm like, anything Neil Adams wasn't drawing. Okay, Perez eventually like made that book a seller. But
I loved. We're also throwing out good. If you want like a more modernized version, J. Michael Straczynski's Supreme Power is also really good with Gary Frank. That's a more modernized version retelling. It's its own universe. You can just read that, and it's its own thing, which is really nice too. But yes, Brandon, of course, the original is probably one of the best.
You got to see the Avengers interact with them, and it was like, it was fun, and it was also you kind of really understood their perspective. And it was also like Marvel, like, okay, we have to rival DC because we technically have to be petty, but
they both are. The big two companies are both are.
So it was like kind of a mockery of that, but they did it in a way that was like kind of fun.
I agree. I completely agree. But this story, like I said, branches off from Jason Aaron's Avengers run. It was a big storyline that he had been hinting to for a while. I think we should just jump in. Yeah? Should we just go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Heroes Reborn, America's Mightiest Heroes. So we start
I was going to mention that Heroes Reborn is a concept from the 90s.
Oh yeah. Yes. One that almost even I myself totally went past me again. Yes, it is. It's like it's a concept that no one cares about anymore. And but it was nice to bring it back for a second. It really was.
Captain Mick Big Chest. Yeah.
No, it's like my nightmare. It's like my nightmare. I literally put that was a side note at the store I work at. We have in all the front of the bins they display the very first comic book, and for Halloween I put all like scary covers, and one of them was that one just because it's terrifying to me. And so it was all like these monsters and horrifying, and then Big Chest Captain America.
I guess that was like my biggest pet peeve when this book was coming out was Heroes Reborn. I was like, I get what you're going for and why this is like a Heroes Reborn-esque story, but you're trying to revamp a dead term and making it just as average as it was in the 90s. Like, you're not doing anything.
It's too on the nose. It's a little too on the nose.
I get it, but stop.
Yeah, I completely agree. But okay, so we start out as one does, following a young Robbie Reyes through the streets of Los Angeles, and we have no idea what's going on, and we see this mysterious character come out of nowhere. And this mysterious character ends up being Blade. And we have no idea what's going on. Robbie Reyes is running down the street trying to find out what's going on with him. It seems to be normal life, and Blade is completely confused on what's going on, as we all are.
Right.
We move forward in the story. We move on to Washington, D.C., and we see Doom, as always. Vibrant, huge, Ed McGuinness art, big, puffy guys. I love it.
No neck.
Especially with the Dr. Juggernaut, which I love, which he has the Crimson Gem. I can never pronounce this name.
Kryderek? I can't pronounce it either.
Sidorak.
Sidorak. Thank you. Sidorak. Thank you.
Oh, let's go.
Juggernaut's gem. And so Dr. Doom with the power of Juggernaut. I love that design, by the way. I love Ed McGuinness' design for Dr. Juggernaut. It's phenomenal. He's about to he wants to take out the Washington, D.C. He wants to take out the president. He wants to control the world. You know, Doom. Just straight up Doom all day.
Well, I love how his fist says Doom. Like, if you look at his fist in this panel right here, it says Doom. And I'm like, I love
it does. His knuckles? Yeah.
I'm like, if he punches me in the face, he just wants to leave a Doom imprint.
No, it's like one of
right on my jaw. I'm like, that's awesome. I want that.
One of my favorite designs. It was a variant cover too. I forget which issue, 1 or 2. But like, he's just sitting on his throne. It's great. But of course, the hero has to save the day. And who's the hero? Is going to be Captain America, Iron Man? No, it's Hyperion, who is Marvel's Superman. He comes in, throwing punches as one does. He is the atomic hero. He's taking on Dr. Doom / Juggernaut in one go, taking him out, throwing every punch. And that's pretty much all this first few pages are, is just them two just having at it and a lot of dialogue going back and forth about how,
really
you can't stop me.
Dialogue.
You're alien free. You're not here. And he's like, no, I'm here. I'm American. I'm ready to go.
90s Fantastic Four dialogue. Like Scott Lobdell. This is Scott Lobdell dialogue from Fantastic Four. The most forgettable thing ever.
But he's trying to
it's
play
just
off
literally about the punching, and that's
Yeah.
all it's about right now. Because I mean, who can take it more than a Doctor Doom Juggernaut than a punch of Superman
And a
it's
Superman.
fantastic. Yeah,
This is Doomsday versus Superman, guys.
pretty much, and it just doesn't get any more classic superhero than that. As we continue, we'll let them fight it out. They're gonna fight. Hyperion and Doctor Doom are gonna fight it out for a minute. We continue on. At the same time, it looks like there was another villain going on, and it looks like we have Marvel's Batman, Nighthawk, coming out, and he's going to try to take on what it looks like is the Black Skull. So it looks like it's a cross between Venom and the Red Skull, and which is terrifying. Actually, that's really, really bad. And so we have like a Hydra-like group, but with Venom attached to it, which is just really
and it's
terrifying.
like instead of the Venom symbiote going across chest, it's the Hydra thing. As a
Yeah,
Jewish person,
yeah.
I think that's like my worst nightmare.
That's what I'm saying. It's terrifying actually. But so we have this Batman character taking on, who is very much, like I said, starting out this. A lot of these are their counterparts. So you get Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but they're to the extreme. So this is what Batman could be, unfettered, uncontrolled. And so then we move on to, while he's dealing with that, we move on to Captain Prism. Spectrum, and he is flying through space. We get a reference of Carol Danvers. She has no idea what's going on. She's just a pilot again. So what is going on in this universe? We have no idea.
Got a reference to Jennifer Walters, so She-Hulk. There's nothing green about her. That's what we got. We like picking up like no one has their memories except for
no one knows
so,
what's going on yet. Because the very next panel too, we get Tony Stark, who seems to be still a weapons manufacturer and a weapons dealer, and so that is a really, really big thing going on. We have no idea as the audience going through what's really happening because our normal heroes are Iron Man, no Captain America in sight. Captain Marvel is just a normal pilot now. What is going on? We have these heroes that aren't really the mainstream heroes, but this is kind of a what if there were no Avengers, who would step up to Squadron Supreme. And so as we continue on, we see Blade at the memorial of Captain America. Captain America was never unfrozen, it looks like. And so we need to see, he's wondering what's going on. That's all the eternal dialogue going on right now, is a lot of the Blade's eternal dialogue on what's going on, as he doesn't know what's going on, as do we as the audience don't know what's going on. So we're discovering it together. He's the vehicle we're following.
I really like how this is written into the perspective of Blade with like the red font. So you get to know his thoughts as he's exploring, which I think is a little bit of, it's a little insightful. But I'm also like, okay, you really just wanted to tell a Blade book and you had to do it. Like, I get it, Jason. Really, I'm like, you like Blade. I like Blade too.
Yeah,
Stefan, you like Blade?
Blade's cool. But I thought it was cool how when Carol was, she's a pilot for a jet fighter, and we see like, for whatever reason, I want to call him Dr. Prism as well. I know it's Spectrum, but
he looks like a prison.
Well, but I thought it was cool. Like it was like like a throwback to Green Lantern. He's a pilot. He's usually flying jets, so it was like Green Lantern watching himself almost, even though Carol isn't Dr. Spectrum, but it was a cool little comparison to that. Like
totally. Yeah. I mean, because they're both in the military. Dr. Spectrum is also high-ranking military official as well, just like Carol. And but he's the Green Lantern of the group. He has his prism that gives him his power and energy constructs and things like that, energy blast. As we move forward from Blade, and we have the Blur taking on the Silver Witch. I actually love this series because of the amalgam villains. I love that so much in this series. Like this Silver Witch is, what if Quicksilver died and Scarlet Witch absorbed his power, so you have a very, very fast Scarlet Witch being able to hurl hexes at you at ungodly speeds. And so that's kind of what this is. I know, exactly. No one's seen that coming. The only one that can is the Blur, which is their Flash. He's ridiculously, they make him so ridiculously fast in this series, and he's constantly going. And you would think exactly though the Flash would be kind of just annoying, just annoying to be around, and he's excessively annoying to be around because he's always waiting on other people, so he's also annoyed.
He's also excessively ripped.
Well, yes, he has.
That comes with everyone. That comes with all of Ed McGuinness's drawings.
They are all so puffy. Yes. Yeah, everyone's ready to go.
I want Ed McGuinness to draw me.
Yeah, just no necks. You don't
No,
need necks in
I
this
don't
world.
care about that. Like
Yeah, you don't
everything
need
else
it.
will be built, man. Like it's like museum body shit.
Um, but that's their Flash. As we continue on, we're getting introduced to every single one of the Squadron Supreme members, and the next one is the Power Princess, who is their Wonder Woman, and she is just straight battle. That's if you need to know anything about her. Straight battle is what she does. She wants the next one. Where's the next fight? Here we are. And so she has taken on so many of Marvel's biggest cosmic and mythical villains, and she's just waiting for the next one. And she's always smiling in the middle of battle because the harder it is, the more she's having fun. And so Power Princess is one of my favorites because she's very one dimensional, but I like it. It just works for her. And as we continue on, we get introduced. We see Captain Spectrum again. He's in space trying to see what's going on, and we get introduced to Thanos, just straight up Thanos.
This Thanos looks so bad. Like everything else looks so great until this Thanos was like.
I love it, and I like he's just Thanos still. Like you don't need to copy him. You don't need to add anything else to him. He's just I'm still Thanos.
The tease angered me. The tease really threw me off. I was like,
oh, why?
That's like Blade teeth. Like
when
this is supposed to be Blade. Do you think you're like drawing top half Blade and like I don't know the bottom half was like Dwayne Johnson? Like you're drawing the Rock at this point.
And I love it. Of course, this is classic Ed McGuinness drawing right here. Look at him. He's just all muscle all day. And just happy about it. This Thanos is just happy about it.
I have it. Well, his Nova wasn't that ripped. I mean, freaking Sam Alexander.
Yeah, he's a kid.
And I'm looking at my Spider-Gwen print for the 25 cover, and I'm like, that's not Ed McGuinness.
He tries to rein himself in, but he can't. When he's just let loose, he just loves these.
He's like
big muscly dudes.
In like this
he's all
weird way. Like everyone's just a bodybuilder. I get
it. Everyone works out literally 3 times a day, every day.
Oh, yeah.
But that's Dr. Spectrum's trying to fighting Thanos in space with the Infinity Gems, which is great. We continue on the story. Blade is on the hunt. He wants to find out what's going on, as we all want to find out what's going on. He stumbles upon Thor, who is constantly drunk. He's not looking good. He's looked like he has way too many from the past centuries. He hasn't had a break from drinking. He's constantly been drunk, and he is not knowing well. He doesn't know what's going on either. He just wants to drink his sorrows away, it looks like. And Blade's trying to convince him that you are the person that I need your help, bro. Like this, if we're gonna do anything, we need to do it now. And Thor's like, moment. No, I am here. This is what I'm doing. This is what I need to be doing right now. I need to not be sober. And so Blade kind of gives up. He's like, you know what? You're right. You're kind of useless to me. As he throw-ups right on him. And so we continue on. Blade is trying to understand what's going on. He needs some help and he's not finding it. We move on to Nighthawk back, our Batman, taking on the Red Skull, the Black Skull, and this weird like Hydra agents. And we get Blade. Blade is coming in to see what's going on. He's trying to help out. He's trying to gauge the situation by doing his classic Blade thing. And he's fighting all these guys.
Stabbing people.
By stabbing people. Because there's no vampires, actually. We find out there's no vampires.
Yeah, we learned that earlier. Blade just has this lust for throwing his sword through someone just because there are no vampires and he can't really have any of that crave. So he saw these Hydra agents. He's like, I'm doing this.
And so go for it, Blade. And so he's all over it, and Nighthawk is accepting the help right now, but he's obviously very suspicious of what's going on with this gentleman, and he's asking so many questions on what's going on. Blade's asking questions, what's going on, what's happening really, and Nighthawk say we're saving the world. This is what we got to do. And then Blade disappears right when he's about to try to Nighthawk's about to take him in. Blade disappears. He's on the run.
He was all ready to throw hands with Nighthawk. I mean, he just chopped
face to face.
Head off. He's like about to give him all of the smoke. He stood up to me. He's like, I'm trying to save the world too. I figured out what the hell you guys are doing. And then they had this whole conversation like, okay, we're on the same team.
And he's serious. Nighthawk is dead serious the entire time. You're going to notice that throughout the series. Nighthawk is the stoic thinker. He always 10 steps ahead of everybody. Very classic villain.
All right, hence the Batman agenda.
Yep. And we're back at the big heavy hitters. If it was way too much dialogue already, we're no need anymore. We're punching away. We're with Hyperion and Dr. Juggernaut, and we get a glimpse at the new president, President Coulson. What is going on with this? President Phil Coulson? This is crazy. And he's kind of looking kind of creepy. I'm not, that should give you a little sign. His little smile, not looking very, very, very nice. But the heroes are being either beaten down or beating down their own villains. And we get this big, huge spread page of all the heroes fighting all these new, the squadron fighting their villains. And it looks really, really cool.
And you see Thanos there just like lurking. He's like, I got you.
I know, he's way too happy. He's just having a good old, Thanos is just having a good old time out in space. And they're trying their best.
Should when they're trying to destroy the universe.
Yeah, it's true. As we move past that beautiful splash page, double panel, we see Blade in what looks like Antarctica or up north, wherever. Very
North
snowy, a lot of ice.
Avengers, he's going to Avengers Mountain.
He's going to Avengers Mountain, and he's after something. And we move forward to Thor as well. He's wanting more drink, but he's so upset that he calls down the forces of lightning and thunder, and it just scares him. And we find Mjolnir. He was able to summon Mjolnir, and Blade finds Captain America still frozen in ice. And so that ends issue number 1 with Thor finding Mjolnir and Blade finding Captain America.
What kind of threw me off is now that we're going forward to the book is we're gonna have a different artist each issue, and I was like,
correct. Be prepared for that.
Yeah,
as a reader.
Necessarily, certain issues threw me off a little bit, but I feel like so like issue
2 was fine.
2 was fine as well.
Yes, 2 was fine. The Hyperion issue.
That was Dale Kwan.
Yeah. I didn't mind issue 3's artist, the blur artist for that issue. I thought he had a. Was it? I don't think I've read Federico Vincentini.
Was it Spectrum's artist?
Great.
No, that was James Stoke. Or how do you pronounce his name?
Stoke.
All right, but
no, his was jarring. His was like bad. I didn't like that.
I like his type of art though. I liked him and Federico probably the best.
I know you didn't like issue 7 with Aaron Cooter.
Well, that's why I named it.
What about the artist that did Spectrum? His single issue.
That's James. I that's not for everybody, but I like that type of.
Yeah, that seems like a very like indie artist, which
he needs to do a Rick and Morty book. He needs to go to IDW and do Rick and Morty.
That's what I'm saying. He has a very indie feel. It was very jarring.
Or like an Ultra Mega type thing. You know, I think him and James Herron would get on great.
Sure.
I get what they were going for though, trying to give every hero their own feel backstory. So I mean, maybe it would have worked with a singular artist, been more cohesive. But I see what they're trying to do. The execution.
Yeah, they should have been. It should have been just one shots by themselves. Like having this part of the main story seems very confusing to me and could throw off a lot of readers.
I think a lot of I think Marvel learned their lesson with what they're doing, like absolute carnage they're doing with the Darkhold crossover.
Oh sure.
Is like, oh, we're not just calling it Darkhold and just doing like one big tale and each issue different backstory.
Yeah.
Is we're kind of doing a cohesive tale across different creative platforms, so each writer can focus on their own thing with their respected artist.
Totally. All right. As we continue on, we're about to get each issue is focused on a member of the squadron, and the first one we get into is Hyperion.
He's the one everyone knows. He's like the Icarus.
Yeah, let's start with the Superman. Everyone's familiar with him. He's not that deep of a character. You're gonna start out with Superman. We see what's going on, and we get a really cool introduction page to our just classic Silver Surfer and Galactus, just straight up.
I love that. I was like, that's awesome.
And then you turn the page and he's gone. And so
he gets like a hole through his head. I was like,
hole right through his head. He's not even trying. Hyperion's just going at it, going normal day. He's like, you're ruining my flight pattern. I'm gonna go through you, and he does.
At this point, I was like, I get it. He's strong. I don't care because like nothing else is ever to me. Like I hold Galactus. Galactus only shows up when you like have a big bombastic story to tell. Or like, especially like all these like more classic Fantastic Four villains, Doom, Annihilus, show up when like fit hits the shan, you know, just to keep things cleaner.
It's true.
And Galactus showed up. You just like go through him like it's bread and butter. I was like, come on now. Like now, who are you gonna bring that's gonna make me like elevate those stakes? You were talking about stakes earlier. I'm like, how are you gonna raise the bar now? I'm like, you're not.
It's kind of true. Like, yeah, where do you go with someone like Hyperion that can literally just fly through Galactus's head? Like, what else do you got? And it actually kind of explores that a little bit because we go on. He's with this hidden secret identity for some reason, and he has one. And we get introduced to this world's Mr. Fantastic, who doesn't have powers. He's just a scientist, and same with Ben Grimm. They work together as scientists, and they're trying to work at what's going on with the. He's trying to. Reed Richards is trying to explore the negative zone, and Hyperion's like, that's too dangerous. It's a prison now. We trap everyone in there. And
Right.
Are you sure everything's safe? Don't let anyone out, kind of thing. And he's the big American boy. Everyone follows his direction. I mean, because who's going to really stop him? And so as we continue on, we get we get Gladiator Brood, which is really cool. And the whole, what are they called?
The Brood and the Imperial Guard.
The Imperial Guard, thank you. Yeah, the Brood version of the Imperial Guard. That actually miniseries during this, that's another thing. During this series, they had a bunch of like 2-issue little series that went on to explore the different characters, what they were doing during the big main story. And I liked theirs. It was like a Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes kind of storyline a little bit. And where it was a young Hyperion learning how to be a hero with the Imperial Guard and really what happened to them and why they're all Brood infected.
Oh, I would have loved that if I actually cared more about this book.
I think
this
universe introduced a lot of interesting
they did.
concepts.
It had some cool concepts, yes.
I would have liked to see it explored a little bit more.
It was like you're just scratching the surface. The point is like you're not giving me enough to really run with this because you started it and ended it and you're on to the next thing already. Yeah. But like, if you really want to know more, blah, I'm like, but I don't care. It's almost like a Star Wars War of the Bounty Hunters type thing right now. Is like I know where I'm starting, I know where I'm ending, and I don't care for anything in between.
Right.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. These whole middle issues just seem so out of place because they don't further the story. Really, they're just kind of introducing you to these characters, and that's kind of what we're going through. We get introduced to the Mr. Beyonder. He's just kind of showing his triumphs, his biggest triumphs over some of the biggest Marvel villains / heroes that ended up being in his way. We get introduced to a powerless Peter Parker.
Oh yeah, he's a journalist. I'm like,
yeah, he's just a photojournalist. He's just Jimmy Olsen. He's literally just his Jimmy Olsen.
Here's my question. Peter, now it would have made more sense for that to be Eddie Brock than Peter Parker.
Oh, sure.
Why you say that?
Peter Parker, actually more of a scientist than he was a journalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what would have been more fitting? Eddie Brock is a professional journalist. If you really want to capture that Jimmy Olsen-esque, Eddie Brock would have been a much better fit if you look at how he started in 1987.
Sure. You just couldn't play the awkward Jimmy Olsen thing that I think that what they were trying to go for.
Peter, I get Peter's awkward, but he's more of a geared towards like the chemistry and the biology of everything.
Oh, totally. No, I totally agree with
like
that.
A Barry Allen crime scene or a Jimmy Olsen. Let me take the pictures and publish it in Daily Planet.
Sure.
The only reason why Peter did the Daily Bugle is because he was able to get shots of Spider-Man because he was Spider-Man. You take that away from him, is he really a journalist? No.
Well, I was just
Eddie Brock would have taken that job from him in a heartbeat.
True, but maybe in this universe, I didn't read the one shot they did of Peter, but maybe because he didn't ever get bit by the spider, that factored into him not really pursuing science and stuff. Like he just kind of stuck with what was making him money. I don't know. Maybe they did.
I mean, yeah, but like someone had to get bit by the spider if you have a symbiote combining with Red Skull.
He does. Yes, in his little 2-issue, he gets bitten by a weird negative zone spider, and he turns into this weird Annihilus spider thing, and Hyperion has to like take him out. And it's weird. That was like my least favorite one out of all the minis ones because it didn't make any sense.
Michael, Michael, you usually love every book you read, and
I know
you not to like a book. I'm just like,
it was weird.
He must have had like some issues at his store.
It just didn't feel like Peter, and it was just and because all these characters like they're different, but they at least have like the same feeling of the characters.
Core, you know?
Yeah, that one just was completely.
That's what I kind of felt about this one. I mean, I like how they're using Annihilus. I was like, cool. Yeah. At least we're still sticking with the beat up Fantastic Four. At least Jason Aaron understands the height of Fantastic Four villains and what they hold on the Marvel Universe.
Yes, because as he continues, like I said, this whole like issue 2 is just all explaining how powerful Hyperion is, because you had Galactus, you had the Beyonder, and you had the Imperial Guard, and now you get into Hank Pym, Ultron, who's huge, and he just like crumples him up in the next panel. He doesn't do anything. He just
like a
crumples him up.
gumball or like a
Yeah,
jawbreaker.
just in the
I was
next
like,
panel,
what the
he's
fuck?
gone. Not even
I had
worth.
to,
Cool.
my bad. I did, but during that page, I had to flip back and forth. I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Like he just
Yeah, exactly.
took him
It's
out
just
that
him going to
easy,
this
like-
giant beast to like a crumpled
He's
ball.
a,
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
pinball wizard. Okay, sorry.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I
And
was
then
like, it's cool. And I'm like, oh, wait a second. I was like, damn.
never mind.
Never-
It's
never-
just
I'm not gonna
Hyperion.
go anymore.
It's just an afternoon, for Hyperion. And then
No, but wait.
And then you get into the Hulk. We finally find where the Hulk is. He's confused. And he seems very much like a Bizarro type, because he keeps saying, me am crazy. Hulk am craziest one there is. Right.
Solomon Grundy.
Or that too. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I thought more Bizarro because he's fitting Superman. So
Yeah, but I would say, I would go with it Bizarre. I said for sake of argument, it's Solomon Grundy. I'm thinking of
no, I totally, I can see that too for sure. But they're going super, like he's finally found someone. We're finally having a fight scene here, which is really cool. Most of the time it's just a one panel kill, and so like this is it's super intense.
You noticed
Hyperion is at the high school. Yeah, Hyperion's wondering like what's going on. Like I this shouldn't be that hard, but it's kind of getting hard. He's acting nuts. I don't know what he's saying, and then Hulk's like, please make Hulk happy. You love Hulk when I'm happy. And Hyperion's like, you know what? I can't reason with you. I'm now judge, jury, and executioner.
Actually, what's crazy about what's actually cool, little tidbit about the Basona High School is that's who Dale Kawan took a lot of inspiration from was John Buscema. So if you notice the way that he draws Hulk and the way that he's drawn Avengers in the past, right? Because Al McGraw and the Buscemas and mostly like John Buscema had very similar yet distinct styles, different styles. They were both very solid.
Oh yes,
Kawan actually took a lot of more inspiration from John Buscema than he did from anyone else. So that's why that's there.
Different style.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. That's actually cool, really cool. Actually, I like that. But what's not cool is Hyperion making the Hulk look like Swiss cheese, and that's exactly what he does. He literally eye lasers holes through the Hulk and destroys.
Okay, I have a question for you, Michael.
Yes.
Who would you say is more powerful, Sentry or Hyperion?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question.
Because Paul Jenkins has written both of them.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah, he did
I think Hyperion has more potential. I think they're pretty evenly matched because I mean, if the Hulk can take him out, not take him out, but like even them out during
you know where I'm getting at with
Hulk?
this, Ben. You know exactly where I'm getting at.
Yeah. I think Hyperion has that kind of, because he's Superman. He has that like, I'm gonna win.
Sentry's like shit, man. When I'm pissed, like the voice can come out anyway. Like I don't know. Sentry's has that radioactiveness that like Nitro has just excelled.
Sure, I can see that. What do you think?
I think if you're gonna do this, you got to keep it consistent because their power strengths are very similar, and it's like okay, they're probably arguably two of the most powerful characters that you can't utilize because of the max of their strength. And I'm actually curious to see what Stefan thinks of this.
Sorry, go on.
But I was just gonna say, like, you can't just like make Hyperion just take out the Hulk like this, but like Sentry and Hulk have like this whole like awesome fight scene that actually like you were engaged with.
Oh, totally.
I think they were just trying to emphasize how on top of things Hyperion is. Like, maybe the fact that Hulk in that particular situation was kind of like he wasn't rageful Hulk, like he was kind of confused, thrown off a little bit, and Hyperion attacked him before he could gather what was going on. He kind of took him by surprise. That could be why he like chopped him up, because Hulk was still kind of confused as to what's going on. He's just pummeled, like Hyperion,
it also it shows very well, like I mentioned throughout this entire issue, it's usually just one page kills for Hyperion. This took a few. He was fighting him for like at least 2-3 pages, and so that's got to say something for if Hyperion is having to go through 2 or 3 pages worth of fighting to take him out. So,
but I just answer a question real quick. I personally think Sentry is the stronger of the two of Hyperion, just because the whole Void power and that always offsets stuff.
It's a difficult question.
It is. It honestly is. I'd love to see them go at it. To be honest,
Me too. I would love to see that. Actually, that'd be great.
Oh yeah, please, Paul Jenkins, Ron Garney, do it.
We have your next story. Go for it.
Yeah,
We'll
please.
buy it. It's all good.
I would actually pay to see that fight. You know,
that's what I think that'd be great. I'd be back every month for it. That'd be great.
Yeah,
I honestly would. That's what the people want to see, Marvel. I don't
It's a 6-issue miniseries of them just going at it.
Please.
I don't see. I like both of them actually. I think they both have really cool characters. Like especially, I like the Hyperion that was in Jonathan Hickman's Avengers run a little bit ago. Like they dragged him from AIM, dragged him through realities into the main 616. It was a different Hyperion, and he just was so like lost, and he was like best friends with Thor, and they had like a buddy thing going on, and I loved that.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Yeah. But I digress. We're still talking about Hyperion, of course. It's his issue. It goes in a little bit of his backstory. You know, it's showing that he was found in his capsule, and with the American flag, which I love. He's American flag. He's through and through American born.
He's chilling in the sun, and he's got to have the American flag by him.
They like to drill that into you.
That was like straight up me when I went to Mexico, just chilling in the sun like that. With my American flag, but I had American flag bathing suit, and I just like would not get any sunburn to save my life, and I was like just chilling.
That's how to do it, man. Straight Hyperion style. And some of the very last issues, like obviously straight. Him coming out of the sun, it's Superman. He's Superman. That's really what they're trying to dive into. He's just this like overzealous Superman. And we get back to Ed McGuinness art. Everyone's puffy again, which is great. I like this. I like this scene actually at the end of issue 2 between Hyperion and who we're going to find out who this is. It's the stranger. He's outside the school that Hyperion's secret identity's at, and he's kind of asking questions. He's like, I don't know who this guy is, but he seems weird. My X-ray vision can't see through him, and I don't know why. What is this guy doing? And he shakes his hand. He's like, whoa, hold up. That kind of hurt. Like, who is this guy?
Notice the veins going through this guy's like freaking.
I know. This is like, really cool. I love
this guy's like either Mad Flexen or Ed McGuinness just again enjoys drawing people buff. Like does Ed McGuinness, like I've seen Ed McGuinness. I met the guy. He is the scrawniest dude I've ever seen.
He has aspirations, man. He has dreams. He's
the scrawniest guy I've ever seen.
Hey, keep going. I'm fine. Like his Hulk book, perfect. I
mean, yeah, you don't need a neck for a Hulk book. You don't need
Red Hulk, Abomination. Like it was
everyone can just look like a freaking turtle shell. Like draw.
It's great.
Draw Chance. I guarantee you, he draws Chance from Spider-Man. You don't need a neck for that. That's a great character. You don't. Character for Ed McGuinness. I could go on.
But I like this because this character that is Hyperion's confronting, literally, he's the one that puts out his hand. He's like, listen, I know what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to do good, but you know, you're going south. And he's trying to find out what's going on. Hyperion tries to take him in for a second, but if you turn the page, Blade rescues this guy. Who is this guy? It turns out he's Captain America. Bearded Captain America. He unfroze him. Blade was like, I know this is a shock. And Captain America's like, I know it's weird waking up with a vampire saying our world is not the same. So I love that part. But he's focused. He's laser focused right now. Captain America is on trying to turn back the world the way it was. He knows something's wrong and he's out to fix it. And that ends issue 2. And as we go on, our next issue is going to center around the Blur.
Fernando Vincentini, which we all know from Amazing Spider-Man, which you may have missed out on it. Lucky you.
I missed out on that.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I'm sorry because I really want to support Vincentini's art because I enjoy it.
I love the art. It's beautiful.
That's why I'm excited for Many Lives and Deaths of Wolverine because Vincentini will be one of the artists, but also Kev Walker will be, and I'm just like, but
I can't wait.
Get out of here. But I just never liked anything Vincentini's done. It's not his fault. It's the writer's fault at this point because I'm like, man.
Get on better books. What are you doing?
You gotta read Avengers Arena and Undercover Avengers. That
was
a good. I loved that series, and then it backpacked on
Kev Walker.
I'm talking about Vincentini.
Kev Walker is just I really loved Savage Avengers until Kev Walker did those like 2 weeks. I was like, Amazing Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, a book that I never thought I'd have to draw. Hot garbage.
Yeah, well, at least it looks nice. That's all that matters. At least it looked nice. As we get in issue 3, we're introduced to the Blur, and his first introduction is that he is just constantly on the move. Nothing seems to go to his pace, so he has to try to entertain himself, or he's just consistently bored. He has like 20 TVs. He has like 5 different phones he's going through at the same time, keeping his social media up, seeing what else is out there, learning so much, just being very self-absorbed, just not doing much else. He's honestly needing some sort of interaction with something. And so as we continue, I love this beautiful, huge double page splash page, which is phenomenal. Just supernatural hellscape, kind of like otherly dimension, and the Blur's just running through it like, yeah, I know this is crazy, and I see it every day, and this is kind of crazy,
right?
And as we continue, he's obviously saying, he's just straight up bored with everything that's going on. He's always doing these different adventures. We see these hell bears, which I love, the red-eyed bears, which are really, really cool. As he's going through, he just like seriously skips over them. And he's one of his biggest villains is the Silver Witch, which we saw at the beginning. We get a little more introduction to her and what her powers are and what kind of where she comes from, which I really like. He's live streaming this fight, and so it kind of gives you an understanding of that he's constantly needing some sort of validation for himself, and also he's always trying to do things for the fans, and so he's not that heroic. He's trying to, but he's still doing good.
He's like, I know I'm the least popular, but just give me some love.
Just give me some love. Yeah, he wants that. He wants it really bad, and so I love this fight scene between him and the Silver Witch. First off, like I said, I like this kind of character. She steals his I think it's his speed or soul or something, which I like.
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of mindless ones. Oh, that's right. I remember this one. This is really, really good part actually, because it actually shows he's like has to try here, which I really like, and which kind of brings out more of like that he really can be a hero if he really wants to, especially when push comes to shove. And he's racing down this hellscape, and he finds the Ghost Runner, which I really like. Again, I love these like amalgams of all these heroes and villains, which I love.
Right. It's like, oh, what if concept? I'm like, Jason Aaron, you'd be the best what if writer if we cared about that title nowadays. But
I know. Yeah, it's really and he's running, he's trying to like, yeah, cool. He's been here before, he's done all this before. He's running against the speedster of vengeance, the Ghost Runner, Johnny Blaze, and he's trying to outpace everything. He's trying to
Speed Force.
He's trying to like Speed Force it up. Exactly. And I love this whole thing, and I love that whole Scarlet Witch thing. She says no more speed. She's trying to like take away his speed right here, and
she's trying to pull it. For a second. This is Jason Aaron knows that he's trying to do this House of M type thing, and he's like, no more mutants. I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's trying to kind of like balance himself, trying to get his speed back. He trains a little bit, which is kind of crazy, which I like. I liked this issue a lot. It humanizes him a little bit, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And but by the end of the series, right, he's taking. First off, and also, can we take a look at again all these amazing pages? Amazing the way the panel working is very unique, which I liked. Yeah. I love the panel working and what they focus on and what is just let you take in, like when he's meditating, when he's finally like, listen, this is calm yourself. If I calm down for a second, I just think I know what I'm doing. Just breathe.
This is a very Black Scientist. It was like very Mateus.
Exactly. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I completely agree. It felt very Black Science. Thank you. I loved this whole take. He's riding this giant like weird whale thing, which I love. The Wrath Whale, which is like. And he finally he beats her. He takes her to Ravencroft, which is like their Arkham Asylum. And so she's kind of trapped. The Silver Witch is trapped behind bars in their Arkham Asylum thing. And you get this last kind of like monologue for the Blur. Like I said, kind of just reinforcing that, I learned a lot during this fight. I almost lost my speed. The thing that kind of defines me. I need to kind of step up my game. But at the same time, I'm still faster than anyone. Let's go. And so he's essentially racing death at the end of it, which is really, really cool. I like these ending things, like we get reintroduced to Echo, who's the Phoenix, which was the big Jason Aaron storyline. Before this was the who's going to be the next Phoenix Force, the new host of the Phoenix Force, and of course it was Echo.
I just didn't care for that. I'm sorry, I'm against that.
Who would you rather have seen be the Phoenix Force?
I would have rather you just not played around with something that was not right for the Avengers to play around with. I honestly don't think that the Phoenix.
X-Men.
Yeah, I feel like that's just something
Sure.
that's unique to the X-Men that should just stay there. I feel like any other real like Phoenix, like it takes someone really powerful
Yeah.
to hold the Phoenix Force. Like even if you look like in, and I think though that I know the animation is different from the comics. Like everyone in the comics just comment section just don't say. I know, but Emma Frost in Wolverine and the X-Men could barely contain the Phoenix Force, you know, and that was like a huge plot line of that arc was how many telepaths, how many like mega telepaths it take to control the damn thing, you know, like that shows how powerful Jean was, and Jean is a very special character who can really contain that. Because who else have we seen do that? Not.
It's usually been telepaths for the Rachel, Quentin Quire.
Rachel was from that same bloodline.
No, I mean, if you spread it out, it was decently
Phoenix
fine.
Force.
Like the Phoenix 5 during the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline.
But I was like, it's more like I don't think that like I think the Star brand was enough for you to really like dapple in. I don't think you needed to, and that's like past this. No, Star brand was leading into this whole thing. But I was like, you don't really need to play into the Phoenix Force because it's more of like a not really a cash card. It's like it's almost irrelevant because you set up so much other stuff, but you're going to talk about this and give everyone like cool Phoenix costumes.
I mean,
like,
I think he had to.
He
just finished the storyline introducing her as the Phoenix, so I think he wanted to play around with that character a little bit.
Yeah, but also it's like I just don't. It's an uncomfortable feeling. I mean, this is the X-Men space, so let's keep that pertained to that universe. The Avengers, there's certain things the Avengers shouldn't deal with, and it's out of character, in my opinion, for them to deal with something like the Phoenix Force.
Oh, so did you not like Avengers vs. X-Men?
I haven't gotten that far yet. My Bendis binge.
Oh, gotcha, got it. JR.
I'm almost there. Just give me like another business month, and I got you.
Done and done. I can't wait. But we're going on to the new host of the Phoenix Force. Is Echo, and we get introduced to her again, and kind of like going on to who she is and why she's kind of here, and what she notices something's wrong as well, because the Phoenix Force is telling her something's weird here, but she doesn't know what, and she's kind of like going with the flow at the moment. And then Blade pops up again. And he's just like, you know what? I really like this girl. She's kind of creepy and weird. I like her. Fits my aesthetic.
So the guy being creepy and weird from the shadows.
Exactly. Yeah. And then Captain America's like, hey, you scare the living crap out of me, Phoenix. You're crazy powerful, but we need you. Let's team up. Let's change the world back. You can sense something's wrong. We know something's wrong. Let's change it back. We are the Avengers. Let's gather our team.
Yeah, hands in, guys. Avengers on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, we need a few more. Here
we go. Let's get a team. And that's a good start, though. Blade, Captain America, Phoenix. That's a pretty solid start.
Right.
We move on to issue 4, which is now Dr. Spectrum. It's his turn to get a little one-off issue. And he's, like I said, he's the Green Lantern of the group. So he does with a lot of space adventures. He's very cosmic. He can do the energy constructs, energy blasts. That's what he does. And so as we turn the page, we see this bounty hunter named Rocket Raccoon with a Groot gun, which is really, really cool.
Lobo.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Lobo.
Exactly. Yeah, he's basically Lobo. He's definitely more enhanced and very much more cybernetic than we normally see Rocket Raccoon, which is just he has authentic battle damage, which is great. This definitely team up is legendary. He's out, and we see the Watcher, who turns out cannot watch anymore. His eyes were removed, and so that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's like, but technically, there's just have like the sense of the Watch, like everything should just flow through his cosmic brain and energy. Like I feel like I know I don't want him to get like a big head over what I'm saying, but I feel like everything just flows through him into that big head space.
Sure.
I don't.
I know in Earth X, he had recruited Machine Man to be the Watcher because Utu was going blind. So maybe that was like a call out to that. There's a lot of call outs to other storylines. That's
a good reference. More people should be reading Earth X. That's a good
Yeah,
story.
maybe I'll get there one day.
Alex Ross covers it beautiful. but yes, we see, if you continue on with the story, we see Dr. Spectrum just literally annihilating Thanos and the Infinity Gems. He's just taking them out one. He's kind of an odd
He built a
hero
gun.
because he
Yeah.
relies very heavily on his prism. Like it's almost like an addiction a little bit,
Yeah.
where it's part of him and he needs it. But it makes him ridiculously powerful. Like I said, he's the Green Lantern. The Green Lantern ring is like the most powerful weapon in the universe. The only thing holding it back is its wielder. We have a very similar case here.
Right. I would say it was almost more like a Kyle Rayner, just in like how much damage he's willing to do.
Yeah, exactly. He's just non. He holds nothing back. The
No.
Dr. Spectrum, and he's just going all over. And of course, Rocket Raccoon is sent to stop him. He needs to be stopped. He's too powerful. He just took out Thanos with the Infinity Stones
With a
without even
gun.
trying. Yeah,
With a
without even
gun.
trying. He just blows off his hand. No problem.
I feel like the theme of this book is just destroying powerful people that are even trying.
That's exactly what this is. And this
It's like, I don't care anymore. Stop it.
and so this whole issue, it's like, I think we were talking about the art on this one. Like, it wasn't my favorite. It's weird. It's very out there. It's very outlandish, which kind of fits for like space and cosmic themes. Like, it's very like organic. It's very a lot of.
It's weird because some parts are so
oddness.
refined.
Yes.
Some parts are like, wow, this is actually really fun. Then you go to the next page, I'm like, what did I? It's almost like a Riley Rossmo, but he also
Sure.
draws kind of like I don't want to say like the mainstay artist, but like a typical anyone you can pull off the street, you know?
Yes, exactly. So they're continuing to fight. It looks like Rocket has a little bit of an edge on him. He sends his Groot rockets after him, which bond to him and it's like encasing him in this.
Kyle Holtz. That's who he reminds me of when he's like drawing like real refined. He's like a Kyle Holtz, but mixed with Riley Rossmo.
Oh no, definitely. The prism actually like chooses you, just very much like the ring, except it's very fickle a little bit. You need to continue to prove yourself, and so he's scared, like he's wanting help from the prism. The prism's kind of floating away, and eventually we get Rocket trying to capture the prism, but of course, no, he knows his master is Dr. Spectrum, and so he really kind of ignites it and releases all its power and destroys the Groot bomb and kind of come back super pissed. He's just like, you know what? I'm done with you guys. I'm ready to take no prisoners. And that's exactly what he does. Going forward, he's just using all his constructs to destroy everything he can get holds on. Rocket's trying to come up with a plan. He's running right now. Nothing can really stop him. Dr. Spectrum himself is just like, you're not being hunted anymore. You're being executed. Here we go. And so he's going at it. And it turns out that Rocket has the Star Brand. And so, which is a big cosmic power force that the universe gives to a chosen person in the universe to protect everything. And they give it to Rocket. And he's trying to use the Star Brand against Dr. Spectrum. And of course, Dr. Spectrum has the whole ability of his prism, which is boundless at this point. And you also get Ego, the talking planet. And he literally throws the planet at him, which is really kind of crazy. And they're both fighting this big intergalactic kind of like space war just between the two of them. Lights, explosions, laser beams, guns. It's going crazy right now.
Meanwhile, like all of the Nova Corps, all of like Hala is just sitting there with their popcorn.
Exactly. And no one's stopping them. They're both making energy constructs of different huge weapons. Like they go from handguns to shotguns to rocket launchers to cannons to giant spaceships. Like they just keep escalating the damage. Nothing around it. They go from all these like planets and stars and meteors around them to like literally nothing because everything's exploding around them. And so
you get a lot of brains.
A lot of it. And then coming up, literally Dr. Prism gives him cancer. Like pretty much he's like he gives him like the space cancer. It gives Rocket like the space cancer, and he's literally eaten alive. And then he takes him to one of the surface of a nearby star and literally melts Rocket into nothing. And so the Star Brand leaves him and goes to find the actual true heir of the Star Brand, which is this little girl on Rocket's ship where the true Groot is. That's why Groot's able to survive, even though Rocket got killed, unfortunately. And we move forward with the actual Dr. Prism talking to President Coulson about something. I'm always going to be here to help whatever you need. Thank God for Mephisto. And what is it? In Mephisto we trust.
We trust with a $10 bill. I'm like,
yeah. And
who's on the $10 bill?
No, it shows the back of it.
No, which president? Like in like our regular.
Oh, Hamilton.
Bill. Oh, yeah, no, not Hamilton. Oh, yeah, I was just doing Hamilton references like 2 archives ago.
Can't be stopped. And then but this is the big reveal, right? This is the big thing that we're like, oh, okay, well, something's definitely super up. That's Mephisto being worshipped by the president of the United States. That's
nice.
Probably not a good thing. And it's on their money. And it's on their money.
A very similar situation to some of our current presidents in the past. I can see it. Not naming which one, just for the sake of my show.
Sure. We go back to the Star Brand baby being grabbed by Groot, and he's just floating in space. And you see that she's actually just this grown kid. She's trying to make it to Earth, trying to get back to Earth. Groot's protecting her, trying to see what's. She wants to help. She wants to get revenge for Rocket. She wants to go back to Earth, and then we find the Wakanda Space Command. So that's really, really cool. That's a throwback to why am I blanking on his name? The author of the start of this.
Jason Aaron.
No, the Black Panther.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Thank you. Yes, that's a really, really cool reference as well. So that ends the Dr. Spectrum run, and we're seeing the team being formed in another branch of the new Avengers team being formed with Black Panther, like Space Empire, plus also the Wakandan Space Empire, and then also Groot and Starbrand.
Right. Before we get on to issue 5, I do want to say that everyone's links is in the description below. Make sure you guys follow them on Instagram and TikTok, their respected platforms. This will air on Friday. After this episode, we will be doing Hawkeye by Matt Fraction, David Aja, probably like the first 12 issues, first arc. Michael's like, I'm coming back. And that's going to be led by Stefan. So
good choice.
Stefan's really excited to do that. But other than that, just cool things coming up on the channel. We just had our interview with Jim Shooter on Wednesday, so make sure you guys check that out. Also, Steph and I just talked about why you should pre-order your comics, which is also Wednesday. So make sure you guys check out those replays, binge them for the weekend. And then we have Greg Hurwitz, Marv Wolfman, and James DeMatteis in the pipeline for Creators Corner and weekly wrap-up, of course, every Monday. So just throwing that out. We also have merch. If you're interested in merch, t-shirts, hoodies, white, black, and gray. Shoot me a DM and we'll work everything out there. I may or may not have a Google form out by then or anything else that's slightly more organized because this gets really busy.
It's good though. Also really busy is issue 5.
Yes.
As we get into Heroes Reborn issue number 5, we're starting to talk about Nighthawk. So we get the Batman, and this issue is very Batman-esque to the extreme. And so it's very dark. It's so gritty. And
and you didn't see like Arkham Asylum in the background of like the first panel.
Yeah, exactly. This is the Ravencroft, and which is like their Arkham Asylum, and it's essentially we're getting a Batman story in Marvel, which is kind of cool. Except he uses guns too. Nighthawk is very, very cool with. He's totally fine using guns, not a problem at all. And so he just kind of busts his way through the cops to try to get. He's not really killing them. He's using
smoke.
Yeah, smoke around.
Like those little pop smokers.
Yeah, he's getting him out of the way, but he's not taking any prisoners. He's like, you're gonna stay down for a while. Watch. And so he's like, you're in my way. I need to stop what's ever going on. And Luke Cage is actually the commissioner, very much like Batman and Jim Gordon. This is Nighthawk and Luke Cage.
Except Luke Cage is a little bit more built than Jim Gordon was.
Sure, I mean not J.K. Simmons. J.K. Simmons got ripped for Justice League. For Justice League. For some reason.
That's Snyder. You had to be ripped to be in Snyder's Justice League.
Apparently so. That was a requirement. Yeah, and
even Amy
trench coat on. You couldn't even see.
Had a flex of like bikini pictures.
Yeah, it's true. But the story that continues. There's a mass breakout in their Arkham Asylum and Ravencroft, and so we start to hear like ha 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 going on, and like the intercom going on. It's very, very creepy. Nighthawk's busting in very sneakily, very ninja like. He's seeing all the dead bodies. He's seeing what's going on. He's trying to fix what's going on. We get a throwback to earlier in the day when he was speaking, when Nighthawk's alter ego is speaking to Congress, and he switches out with a life model decoy, which I thought was really, really cool.
Yeah, that was dope.
And then of course he has a secret entrance from Congress to into his Nighthawk cave. Of course he does.
Sorry.
What's up?
In his bat cave?
Yeah, his bat cave, sure. His hawk cave. But he keeps trophies just like Batman does.
His nest.
Yeah, his nest. He keeps trophies just like Batman does. He has all this stuff ready to go, which I like. If you look at it, his Bucky's arm and everything on there, the size from.
By the way, the name of this artist is R.M. Guerra for everyone who or Guerrera. For anyone who didn't catch that, I don't know if we mentioned that earlier.
I did not know. Thank you very much. And that's kind of setting up his like alter ego and seeing that he is kind of like this Batman-esque character as we're going forward. Nighthawk is, and now we're back to main timeline. He's seeing all the villains right in front of him, just going freaking nuts. And you have Sabretooth, Bullseye, and they're all going after him. But of course, he's not holding anything back. He's gonna put you down. He's not like DC Batman where he has some limits. Nighthawk's gonna put you down. And he does. He takes a lot of them out. And you get a little flashback to the Venom symbiote's in there, and it's really evil. It's not really what it used to be. He used to wear it before. Nighthawk has a lot of similarities to, especially a lot of the villains of Spider-Man. He kind of takes over New York, and so he kind of takes over the responsibilities of this universe's kind of Spider-Man, and his villains kind of were still around. Because as we continue to see, we see Otto Octavius, who like controls octopus, and then a lot of the Venom symbiote is still on Red Skull. And then as we continue on, they're fighting. You see Bullseye and Gwen Stacy and his version, what it seems like to be the Joker. They're trying to make him out to be more of like a Joker-esque character in this issue, which is the Green Goblin.
It was just a little off-putting of how the similarities kind of went hand in hand. Like,
yeah,
it's like if Jason Aaron, let's say, ever went to DC, he probably will one day in his life. I don't want him touching Batman. I'm sorry.
You don't think Jason Aaron could write a Batman?
I think he'd write a good Batman.
I don't. I think he could write a good detective comic story and feature other characters, but I don't think he would write a very good Batman story. I just don't think he would have enough to say. I think he could do if he had a mini series, he had like a Batman universe type.
I think he'd make a good Justice League. I think he could write a good Justice League.
Arkham Asylum, yeah, Justice League. But if he had like an Arkham Asylum, right, like Morrison did, or an Arkham City type book, great, good, fine, I get it.
I'm not big on his team books. I think Aaron works best solo. From my experience, I just know that's when he's usually got his momentum between his Thor, his brief Black Panther run. Am
I the only one who wants to do Titans?
What is it?
I want to do Titans. Or I want him to do Red Hood. I think he'd kill it.
Yeah, give him a Red Hood series.
Please give him a Red Hood series.
I'm down. Yeah. DC, I know you're listening.
Yeah.
There you go.
Jim Lee, I'm talking to you. Hire this guy. Even though y'all like don't hire people nowadays, you just take from the practice squad and
It's true. But yeah, there's so many similarities to the Joker with the Green Goblin in here, and especially you get a Gwen Stacy reference as well when she's being hung over, about to try to be thrown off. We get a kind of a throwback to something very similar happening, because Falcon used to be kind of like his Robin a little bit, and he gets killed by the Joker. See, I confuse it. The Green Goblin, and so he can't let that happen again. So Nighthawk is trying everything to.
That's where the Red Wing comes from. Instead of Red Hood, he turns into Red Wing, right?
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Because in this universe, Gwen Stacy is also kind of like his Robin a little bit. There's a miniseries, 2-issue miniseries for this, where she's kind of Nighthawk's little like Robin character, and
Night Gwen.
Yeah, Night Gwen. Thank you. And which is like a play on Spider Gwen and stuff like that. So, but it turns out Gwen Stacy got infected by the Joker, the Goblin toxin, the Goblin gas, and so she's kind of going crazy, just like everyone else is, because everyone in here is affected by it. And so, but she kind of like gets herself together for a second, just enough to throw some ninja stars at the Green Goblin and take him out, because she's like, this is going crazy. We can't do this. Someone has to take him out. And so he's wanting to die. He's wanting to someone to kill him. He's seeing how far Nighthawk can be pushed before he kind of like straight up just kills him. And so he's like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to take it in my own hands. And so he shoves it further inside his head. But Nighthawk's like, you know what? No, I'm going to save you. And he's talking to him. And even the Green Goblin notices something's weird about this Earth. He's like, I'm glad I'm dying. I don't want to be taken out of this world. I like this world better than the old one. And so that's kind of give you a little too, like, craziness is kind of weird, because it kind of references it a little bit with the Hulk as well. So he's like, the Hulk was being weird. A Hulk kind of sensed that a little bit. This weird Green Goblin is also sensing it. So we all know something weird is happening. Right. And because of this, it sends Nighthawk down a rabbit hole of trying to discover that, is there something weird about this Earth? And so he's doing his Batman-esque research at his computers and sees that some people of interest on his screens, and realizing that, wait, hold up, something is weird. Like, is this Captain America? Like, it's a really, really cool end scene of him kind of like going down the rabbit hole of something's weird here. Let me find out what's going on, because the heroes themselves don't know what's going on. We're just along the ride, just like the audiences as well. And as we go on, like at the end of each of the other issues, we have a peek back with the original artist of McGinnis, and it's kind of another kind of play into team building here. And so we get Nighthawk taking on Ronin, and them kind of duking it out for a little bit, seeing what's going on. And he escapes, and he teleports to Africa, and it turns out Ronin is actually Black Panther in disguise. And who's waiting for him back at Wakanda? It is Captain America and Blade, ready to recruit him into the new Avengers.
I actually really like the T'Challa as Ronin bit. I think that, because we know Shuri's gonna play some aspect, ties in, but in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, we know that Shuri, well, we're banking on Shuri taking up the mantle, right? So sure. To have some synergy between the comics and the movie universe, I can see them trying to, if Shuri becomes Black Panther in the movies, I can see them trying to make her take up the mantle in the comics again.
Sure.
And because when that happened years ago, like Black Panther was like helping out Matt Murdock for a little bit in Hell's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, Black Panther, the man without fear.
Yeah. But I think him rocking the Ronin suit would be really cool, because that's the purpose it serves. Like Blade wore it when he had to hide his identity. Clint wore it. I think it would be dope to see T'Challa wear that, because he can't run around as Black Panther. I think that'd be really interesting.
Sure, I think it'd be really cool actually. I like that the first off, the outfit's pretty cool, but yes. I like the purpose of it, exactly what you're saying. It's kind of like a catch-all for someone who needs.
I like the Wakandan technology and how like embedded into the shit. I was like, that's dope.
It is, yeah. I like that a lot.
I think that's a cool idea. Little visual there. I was like, see, those kind of concepts is like makes the book enjoyable. And it's like just saying, okay, what can be cool in this, right? If I'm not taking this book seriously, what can I think I can like make out of this? And that's one of them. And it's like, because I really don't care about this book, because there's nothing to care about. Jason Aaron does nothing to generate emotion in this book, through the dialogue, through the setting. It's all like, okay, it's gonna come and it's gonna end. You know this.
Yeah,
but
that's
cool
kind of the
stuff
disappointing.
Like this is like, it doesn't matter to the story, but I want more of it.
That's kind of the disappointing part for me as well. Like I said, all these would work really well with if they're their own little one shots and not part of the main storyline, not issue 4, not 2, right. 3, 4, 5. Like if they actually had a story with this would be fantastic. But as we continue on, a good chunk of this story is the introduction of the Squadron Supreme, which this came out a few months ago, and it's still nothing right. interacting with them.
What was the plot forward is the last few pages that mends the team together.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's just like, fine, cool, here it is.
Yeah, here it is. It kind of like ends like that too. It's very abrupt, which we're going to find out. Because as we move forward with issue 6, who haven't we gotten to talk to yet? It's Power Princess. Here we go. Like I mentioned before, Power Princess just loves battle. That's what she does. That's what she feeds off of. Every little bit she can go. She wants to take on the more strongest people in the entire universe, and she gets them. And as we're fighting, she continues. The more she's beaten up, the happier she gets. as we're taking on the All Gog, which is All Father and Gog, and um, and so she continues to fight him, and he's like, I am invulnerable, you can't really beat me. She's like, well, I can from the inside. And so this is really cool. She tricks him into it, she defeats him, which is great, and she brings him to, she also has trophies, and so she has all these statue people frozen in statue on the Statue of Liberty on Island, which is really cool. Yeah. She's always out for battle. Like I said at the beginning, she's very one-dimensional. So there's nothing too crazy about her, especially in this issue. She really doesn't learn any lessons or anything like everyone else does. But it's kind of giving her a history of what she's been doing, all the battles she's won, all her trophies. I like the little tidbits here, like the skulls in her fire. If you continue on, are look like all Dormammu skulls, and so like that's really, really cool.
That's
and
kind of
so
dope.
like, yeah, it's really cool, like touches like that throughout it. You can tell that, you can see as history, she fought with Namor during World War II, and so any kind of like major battle she is involved in. And for some reason, we see that Hercules kind of breaks free of his stone prison, and she forces him back into submission. He's just like, whatever, you can't beat me anyways, and she knows it, and so she doesn't like him because she knows she can't beat him. And so it's really, really kind of cool. And then she needs to find a way to beat him and continue to get stronger. And so she gets the rainbow axe to open up the Bifrost. And so she goes to the remnants of Asgard. She's hunting down some weird feeling that she's getting, and then she stumbles upon Thor. Thor's back. He's looking extremely disheveled. He doesn't even know where he is, really. He sees the remnants of Asgard. He's finally getting sober, and he's not having fun with it. And they both meet each other, and they both find the fight of Power Princess finds the fight of her life. Here we go. She can sense his power. She gets excited. And so they go and they start throwing punches. And of course, he gets taken by surprise. It's all kind of a whirlwind. She has her invisible blade, her invisible sword, and she stabs him, but he continues to go, and they're throwing punches. Exactly. They just continue on. Thor's just getting destroyed by her, and it throws back to a lot of her old conquest. God Butcher, she destroys. The original Jean Grey Phoenix, she killed. And so she fought alongside Hulk during World War Hulk. And so a lot of this, a lot of the story is proving how powerful and warrior she is. Right. She is the warrior.
Oh, this artist, Erica de Urso, never at the first time. Not the biggest fan of this one, but this art.
No, yeah, it was fine. I don't think I've ever read anything else with her before. But she, she's continuing to brag to him, like, listen, I am number one. You just need to give in. I'm going to defeat you. This is what's going on. And then Thor summons Mjolnir, and it turns him into the Thor he's always meant to be. And he's extremely powerful. And he's like, I remember everything. I remember it now. He's gotten his hammer back. He's ready to go. And so he teleports out of there to try to find the Avengers. And we get back to Power Princess, seeing that something was weird with that. Something's been off. I need to find out what. Someone knows something. And she calls a meeting of the squadron, and she's like, who are the Avengers? And this is the first time we've really kind of like introduced, like, they are now up to something too. They don't know what's going on, but they start to see.
I love how the speaker. Why am I forgetting his name? I love how he just shows his phone on him.
Oh, the Blur.
Yeah, Blur. So
yeah.
Like,
no, yeah, that's what it is. He's just,
it up.
He needs it. That's what it is. He gets bored. He's so everyone's going at like crazy slow speed. Like, yeah, this is a cool moment for him. Oh. We get more backstory of Power Princess as we're going through all her battles. She's known Thor. It's kind of a backstory that her and Thor have been kind of like in very similar situations, very close to each other throughout history. Excuse me. And but always never really interacting. They're both immortal beings, and she's like the Wonder Woman. And so we continue on. We're seeing their past, all her triumphs and her conquests, and we see Thor confronting the Phoenix Force. He senses her out, wanting to find her, saying like, "Hey, something's up. I know you guys are ready to go. I remember everything. Let's fix this."
Right.
And that's the end of issue 6. This book is just getting going. And so at issue 7,
Aaron Kuder's yay!
Yeah, we've been introduced to all the characters. We know the squadron by now. We get a feel for who they are. We see what's going on. They're trying to understand what's going on. We as the audience is trying to understand what's going on. The Avengers in the book are trying to fix what's going on. So as we go on, we see this battle between Hyperion and Darkhawk, and we see that when he was infected by the Venom symbiote, and he wants to try to stop Hyperion, and they're trying to battle each other, kind of very similar to like a very much like a very toned down, very bad version of the Batman Superman in The Dark Knight Returns. Kind of like them going
Hero and Menace. I'm like, oh, that kind of burns.
Yeah, they know that they work better together. Like Darkhawk, as much as a loner as he wants to be solve the problems himself. He knows Hyperion needs to be on his side, and they know they work better together. And
Absolutely.
they're having the SquadronSupreme meeting and trying to understand who the Avengers are, what is going on, and how they can fix it the good old American way. And they're trying to search what's going on. Nighthawk saw that someone that looked at Captain America was there. He doesn't really say that, but he wants to go search out the ice where his last known place of origin was. And Dr. Spectrum and Blur go out and look for it, and they find nothing at the moment. Hyperion is searching in space where a ship came in that was supposed to be where Dr. Spectrum said the Star Brand was. Nothing in there. And we get a flash of Nighthawk and Power Princess together, that they had a thing going forward, but he's not caring too much. He's just out to solve the mission.
He's like,
it doesn't matter. Exactly. Classic Batman. We get a tease of where Wolverine was. This was a past issue. He's the leader of Alpha Flight, Canadian team. And so that was a really cool miniseries. It wasn't anything too special, but I liked it a lot. That was going on with
Kryptonite clause. I meant whatever injures Hyperion clause.
Yeah, whatever he did. Yeah. I liked the next panel too, with Nighthawk in space with his little space motorcycle and his bubble helmet. I like that one a lot. It was really that's a really cool kind of callback to like some classic JLA where Batman was always riding his little space motorcycle and he had a bubble helmet. Very similar to look to this, which I liked. You get the Blur and Proud Princess going to ask more questions at the Green Goblin, who mentioned that something was weird. He wants to stay in this world. He didn't like the old one, and they're trying to understand what's going on with that. Power Princess gets pretty fed up with him and just kills him. He's just like, I don't know how. She's like, I don't know how Nighthawk didn't end you earlier. You're super annoying. And so she just straight up ends him in the middle of a sentence. Good for her. We get a hint of the old kind of like Dark Reign storyline, but in this universe it's the Dark Squadron storyline. So
Norman's still there.
He is. Yeah, this is in the past, which is kind of cool. He's obviously Green Goblin. Like he's Green Goblin, but he's like, I've reformed. I've created my own superhero team. You get like the Sentry and Nova, Valkyrie. And it looks like Valkyrie, yes, and there's Ghost Rider in there
Moon
too.
Knight, like a kind of looks like a Maker almost with the 3 little dots.
Oh, sure.
And then you get a Ghost Rider.
Very small little Ghost Rider.
It's more of a Nova. It's actually Nova.
It's Nova, yeah. It's Nova. The star on the face. And then we get interactions with what Blur and Dr. Spectrum don't know what's going on. They're like the second-rate people of the team anyways. They're not the 3 powerhouses. And then we get introduction to what Coulson is doing. Nick Fury was a president, and he got gunned down a long time ago. In Mephisto, we trust again. We know Mephisto is up to something. That seems to be who the big bad is. And so the next time we continue on, we see Mephisto kind of like interfering with a little bit.
Why in all Mephisto-led story arcs is he brought up in the last minute to be the big bad? Like, oh yeah, he's here. He's a character.
Yeah, he just kind of throws it in, and then all of a sudden it's all
Spencer
Mephisto.
did it.
Yeah, and
like, oh yeah, by the way, we're betting.
as we're as we're as we're searching going on in the story, they're searching. They kind of narrowed it down. They kind of they traced Black Panther back to Africa, and they're trying to search on what's going on. They don't know it's him yet, but they know that they were over here somewhere. They're finding Wakanda. They know that this is a big, powerful city, and so they're getting all their forces together, all the squadrons ready to go. And then out of Wakanda come the Avengers. So we got Echo Phoenix, Blade, Captain America,
Thor.
Black Panther, Thor, and the Star Brand all ready to go. And at the end of this issue, you get, of course, the little teaser as each one of these little issues have that kind of connects them all together. Where President Coulson is talking to, Thunderbolt Ross and J. Jonah Jameson, who seem to be his counsel, and they don't like what's going on. However, neither does President Coulson because he shoots them both. And so, as this weird whisper tells him to, and we see this weird dog Mephisto with Mephisto's writing a little bit, the red writing dialogue. And so the demon, at least the demon dialogue. And so we see that he's been influencing President Coulson, that Coulson is just straight up his servant. He will do whatever he needs him to do. And so
we get a Tesseract.
We pull out a red Tesseract. The what is it? The Demonum Cube? The
Pandemonium.
Helladron.
Cube.
The
Helladron. Helahedron.
The Helahedron. The Helahedron, thank you, yes. So
that's a weird ass name.
The Helahedron is it's like a corrupted cosmic cube with demon energy. And that's actually the end of the series. It was 7 issues. And then the very final, that was oddly enough the end of the series. The very final issue was the Heroes Return issue 1
Heroes Reborn because, but if they were reborn, right? Technically, like, they can't return if they're reborn because that is their return.
I don't know. And so
stupid.
that was the confusing part to me. Like, I don't like when they do that. Like, just
do
the whole series.
Something new.
Heroes Return. We know what's gonna happen at this point. Heroes Return. They're gonna save the day. Thanks for letting us know.
That's literally the whole point of this whole last issue. Like, now everything's gonna be summed up. Like, that was my big problem with this. There's a lot of cool ideas in here that just wasn't put together well. It just seemed to be a book of ideas, not really a cohesive story. And so
death metal.
We see President Coulson going on this like murder rampage out of nowhere. Like, now he's just ending everybody because I'm going to start over. I brought back out the cube. I used this demon cosmic cube to rewrite the world. I'm going to do it again, but for some reason I need to kill everybody first. And so that's what he does. He's going through. He kills Mr. Fantastic, Ben Grimm, and Peter Parker. And he's taken his flying car out and the jets. As that's happening, we pan back to the Avengers and the Squadron. They are in the middle of fighting. And the next few pages is really just them going head to head with each other. And so the first team up is Hyperion and Thor, and then we get Power Princess and Phoenix, the Star Brand versus the Dr. Spectrum. The Blur is fighting Black Panther, and he's keeping up because he's Black Panther. Blade is fighting Nighthawk because those two are supposed to fight apparently. And then Captain America goes off. He's using them all as a distraction to go find the source of it, and he knows it's going to be President Coulson, and he needs a word with him. And of course, Cap's shield can deflect cosmic power because of course it can. And so I like this end story because it's all fighting. They're really kind of going back and forth with their punches, especially Thor and Hyperion. They're really kind of going at it. The Avengers brought the Squadron Supreme to this place particularly because it affects Hyperion quite a bit. So that was pretty smart. It's kind of like Vibranium is kind of like Hyperion's kryptonite, pretty much. It weakens him. And so Black Panther is the next page, and he's taking on the Blur, and he is able to cut his tendons, and so he can't run anymore. And so that kind of like stops him at that point. Starbrand is not powerful enough to really kind of take out Dr. Spectrum, except at the moment that he instead of taking out Dr. Spectrum, he goes right after the Prism, his power source in general, and nails it, destroys it. And so Dr. Spectrum is kind of hurled up in a little ball because he's missing his source of power. And so what's really happening, the hard part is Power Princess really is being very difficult to stop. She took out a Phoenix before. She can definitely do it again. So Echo's needing some help. And so she gets some help. Black Panther's trying to help her. Nighthawk and Blade are still at it. They're kind of going back and forth. Blade's like, I know what you're doing. I know how to stop you. Nighthawk's like, listen, I know you. You're a vampire. You need to have a bloodthirst for killing. There's no vampires here. This is what you're doing. You're just confused. I know this because I'm Nighthawk, and then we go back to Captain America has found President Coulson, and they're fighting right now. And literally, Coulson just punches Captain America with the cube, and so that kind of works. And he's just mad with power right now. Coulson is just standing on top of a flying car, soaring through the air. Captain America
Lola.
on his... What's up?
Her name's Lola.
Yeah, Lola, thank you. And he's just insane with this demon cosmic power that rewrite everything. And at the moment, Power Princess has the upper hand versus the Phoenix Force, but the Starbrand intervenes, and both the Starbrand and the Phoenix use their both powers combined, and they take out Power Princess while Thor and Hyperion are duking it out. Nighthawk has the advantage over Blade, and he takes Blade out for a second and kind of like knocks him unconscious. And the only two remaining are Nighthawk and Hyperion, of course, the world's finest as they are. And the only one standing from the Avengers side is Black Panther. He's like, listen, I can take both of you on. Don't even try me. And they do, of course. And Black Panther is taking both Hyperion and Nighthawk on single-handedly. He's not going to be able to be stopped.
Well, Black Panther was like a big part of Jason Aaron's like Avengers. He's like, I really want to focus on Black Panther for some reason.
Yeah, he's the chairman of the Avengers right now. He's like their leader.
We're just like weird. It's not weird, but it's also like you have like Captain America and Iron Man who are like legacy leaders, and they're just like there in the background at this point.
Yeah, he's just trying something new. Yeah, it makes sense. What isn't making sense right now is Coulson fighting Captain America, and they're on even terms because he has this cosmic cube.
Oh yeah.
And then out of nowhere, if you keep going, Hyperion is like, you can't stop me. I'm basically a god. Then all of a sudden he's like, no, you're not. Here's Captain America slamming his shield into his face. And the Phoenix Force and Starbrand use their powers combined again to annihilate the Demahedron,
the Cosmic Cube,
their evil demon Cosmic Cube. And Phil Coulson is not happy about this. He wants to please his master. He's like, why, Mephisto, have you... I was able to do it before. Why is it not doing it now? What's going on? And of course, he was betrayed by Mephisto. That's kind of how he works. And so he gets dragged in everything.
Big
the destruction...
trust.
Exactly. The destruction of this demon Cosmic Cube rewrites the rewrite and puts everything back to normal. And we get the original Avengers at Avengers Mount, at the Celestial, the Dead Celestial, the Avengers hideout. And you get the original Avengers back here, all ready to go, not really knowing what's going on, except now they have the Starbrand baby as well there, and that's kind of been written out. We have Hyperion kind of like lost and confused. He doesn't know what's really going on either. It looks like the SquadronSupreme were being formed at the beginning and then got rewritten, and now they don't know what's going on either because Coulson is gone. So he was leading the squadron before this event, and now he's gone. So we goes back to, it looks like government agents interviewing the Blur, Dr. Spectrum, and Power Princess, and they're like, who are you people? You're not even like real people. Like, you don't even have belly buttons. Like, who are you?
You're just the Justice League in costume, in cosplay.
In costume. Yeah, you're bad cosplayers. And they're all kind of going crazy. They don't know what's going on. And they're kind of like, all three of them are going insane. The only two that really made it out unscathed were Nighthawk and Hyperion. We get a glimpse of course, the world's finest. You get a glimpse of Nighthawk going, he's like, you know what? I wasn't able to do it as a team, but I'll do it myself. Someone needs to take this on. I'll do it myself.
Fine, I'll do it myself.
Yeah, always got to. Biggest loner. And then what ends the series is we're in this kind of like hell dimension scape. The demon dog that Phil Coulson was interacting with earlier in the series is kind of doing this big speech about, yes, we might have lost at this, but it's really kind of just an experiment to see if we can do it. And if we could do that much with one Mephisto, what if we had 615 of them? And it's kind of very much Council of Reeds-esque kind of thing where he's taken all the all the Mephistos from the different universes and bring them together in a
I
council
prefer
of
the
Mephistos.
Council of Ricks. Yeah,
Exactly. It's the Council of Red. It's all the Mephistos. One even looks like a Moon Knight Mephisto, and a Superman Mephisto. They're all there. They're all about to take on everybody, and so that kind of like ends the story on that note of that the big menace is about to happen. It's just an army of Mephistos waiting for their chance to take over whatever universe that they seem fit, and that is Heroes Reborn by Jason Aaron.
Who cares? No kidding. No kidding. I mean, there were flashes, like we said earlier. There's not much depth to this story.
No, not at all.
It was more like
I found it entertaining. It's like we said, it's a bunch of really cool ideas, but no story. There's no story, and which is unfortunate. I was looking forward to this because I like the Squadron. I really do.
I really like Jason Aaron, which is
like you would think there's all the good elements here. There really is. Everything should work here, but it just didn't.
It's just average, and it's not really fresh. And like Jason, I know you're better than this. Like you're. I want to like give him like a Sylvester Stallone speech, like, the world right now is sunshine and rainbows. You're better than that, you know.
I mean, maybe it was the time constraints. You know, they did this was supposed to be their event of the year, and they had to turning it out every week. You know, not every month, not every other week. It was every week. So
I mean, we've seen this with many projects in Marvel, just like getting pushed up. Like they either get pushed back, pushed up, but everything like gets condensed. And I think this could have definitely fallen into that scenario. I also think there are a lot of elements that he couldn't end up telling and spun out. Just to get to the next thing. So it's weird because there's not like a cohesive story in his Avengers run. From like what I'm looking forward to jumping back in on what's it like 650, 750, whatever their next like anniversary issue is. I'm gonna, because Marvel's doing this big thing in the winter where it's like, okay, we're gonna mainstream everything. So I'm like, I'm gonna give it a try. I'm gonna tap back into it, see if it got better, because I'm not gonna turn away a Jason Aaron book like that. But you know, I wouldn't recommend this book. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't say pay the $35 that's on the back of this trade, because don't let them get you like that. If you really want to read it, just go digital, find a better SquadronSupreme story. If you just want a Blade-centric story, you're gonna get one sooner than later. Because he's gonna pop up, guarantee you, he's gonna pop up.
I completely agree. Like I said, I was entertained by it, but yeah, I completely agree with you, Brandon. It's something that I definitely probably won't recommend, and probably even haven't recommended since it came out. So.
No, and it's like it's weird because there are better books and point in the direction. If you really do want to read this book, go for it. You know, but that's why we're here to let you know.
Exactly. Yeah, like Hyperion had his own miniseries a little bit ago that was actually really good. Darkhawk had his own miniseries a little bit ago that was actually really good. Both of those, if you like those characters, which are very interesting characters and very kind of deep in their own aspects, really good miniseries. They had a little bit ago. They're like 1 or 2 trades each.
Darkhawk or really Nighthawk? You said Darkhawk.
Oh, Nighthawk. Sorry. Yeah, Nighthawk and Hyperion had their own miniseries, which was really cool. Those were really, really good. So those, if you like those characters, they had some really good backstories that are actually still 616 canon.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. This was like, at the end of the day, who cares? I'm sorry. I just can't bring myself to say anything like this book praise. Like I can even like say, okay, the art was great. I was like, it had fun concepts, but
exactly, that's what it was.
It had its moments, yeah.
It had its moment, but it was like utterly like the driest event. I would have. You can miss this.
You said Empire?
No, I said this was the driest.
Please don't talk about Empire.
I think this book, like you guys have I'm just reiterating what you guys have said. This had a lot of ideas, but it's just like they come to one interesting idea and it kind of be like, oh, on to the next. They didn't emphasize, or Aaron didn't really emphasize on some of these ideas or kind of elaborate on them or expand them.
There was no story. There was no story.
Yeah. Right. At the end of the day, it's fun read, guys. Fun read.
It's fun. It's
if you really want to read it, but yeah, it
was a dud. It was a dud. You know,
sure.
And you're gonna have those books from time to time. You're not gonna like everything. Not every writer.
I like
can
some
have
bad books sometimes,
stories.
and that's fine. But
I think it's good. I think it's good to read a dud book so you can understand this is what a dud book reads like.
Sure.
That way you can have something, right? Because you're not gonna like every story. You're not gonna like everything a writer puts out. So you have that knowledge. Okay, this is what a bad book is like. This is what an average book feels like. Now you can appreciate, the true gifts that come your way, or know when to kind of hop off a book when you give it the chance. Like, I didn't even give Heroes Reborn a chance because I wasn't a fan of his Avengers run. So I knew automatically I wasn't going to be into this, but I gave it a shot. And it was actually much worse than his Avengers, which was surprising to me. But anyway, guys, make sure you give a nice follow to everyone here on the panel. We got Michael mainly on TikTok for the love of comics. It's in the description below. Also on Instagram. And then you got Stefan, who you guys all know from Whiplash Wednesday, Christ on Infinite Rant. You guys are going to see Stefan a lot more, especially with next week's episode of Archives. Thank you all so much. Hit that like button, subscribe, something to help us out. And if you want merch, hit me up. Thank you guys so much for your support. Leave a comment below. What did you guys think of Heroes Reborn? Honestly speaking, what did you think of Heroes Reborn?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, guys,
You don't need to read it. We did it for you.
yeah, we read this for you. Anyway, have a good night, you guys. We suffered the pain, but station, you guys. Have a good one.
Station.